Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us here again today on our YouTube channel for episode number 897. Well, I got to tell you, doing these FFA interviews is a lot of fun for me, and it's great to be able to go back to high school and college and to see the world through that lens, to see the world through that perspective again, and kind of get reminded of what the world looked like back then. It re-energizes you, reinvigorates you, and gives you energy, even as somebody who's almost 50 years old like myself, to get excited about all the different possibilities that are out there for you. And in today's interview, that is exactly the feeling I got. Speaking with Mr. Devin Caselman, coming to us from Laclede County High School in Conway, Missouri. Man, we spent some time just talking about why he loves mowing lawns and why he loves turning out cattle on new pasture and just looking at the work they've been done and then reaping the rewards by looking at how good a lawn looks or enjoying seeing the cattle look so happy out there on brand new and fresh pasture. It's really a pleasurable interview, and I am excited to present it to you. We're going to get it started for you right now. Joining me today is Devin Caselman, coming to us from Laclede County High School and their FFA chapter. And man, he has got a bunch of supervised agricultural experiences we're going to be talking all about today. So Devin, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, you bet. I am looking forward to it, and it's great to have somebody on from Laclede again. Your advisor has done a great service for me by hooking me up with so many great interviews, and I really do appreciate it. So glad to speak with you and to be back talking to another student from Laclede.
Yeah, I've listened to some of the interviews that you've called about, and all of them, I really was interested in listening to what they had to say.
Well, good. Well, you probably knew their stories already, right?
Yeah, I knew most of them.
Well, that is great. Well, I tell you what, so you've heard the show, and you know how it works, but I'd like to start off by just getting to know you a little bit. Can I ask you just a little bit about yourself?
Yep.
Okay, well, how old are you now?
Currently, I'm 15.
15, and just starting out your sophomore year, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And you're in Conway, Missouri, am I remembering that right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, for you, do you live in town, or do you live out on a farm or a ranch, or something kind of in the middle of those two?
I live out on a farm right now. I've lived in town, but it was a real small town outside of Conway.
And is the farm...
But then we moved.
Okay. When did you move?
It would have been July of last year.
Oh, okay. All right. And is this a family farm you've moved to, or a place that one of your parents works on, or something like that? Or describe to me the situation.
No, it's a family farm. We bought it from an older man in the community, and I think he had 60 acres there, and we bought 40 off of him.
Okay.
And we built the house, built perimeter fence, and right now we're working on area fencing. We've got all our cattle on different places that we have.
Okay. Wow, so it was just bare ground when you guys bought it.
Yeah, there's a lot of rock and a lot of work that we had to take care of whenever we first moved.
Yeah, and built the house and had to put in all the fencing and everything.
Yep.
But now you've got cattle.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
No, not right now.
Oh, you don't have cattle on it right now? You've got cattle in other places?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, were you and your family involved in raising cattle prior to buying this place?
Yeah, I've been involved in cattle my whole life, and same for my father. He always had cattle, and so did his dad, so my grandpa. Okay. I've picked up a lot of things from the two of them.
Yeah, I'm sure. So prior to buying this home place, had you guys been leasing pasture, or is there other ground that the family owns that you run cattle on? How has that all worked?
Well, we do a little bit of both. We have a as far as on my grandpa's side, I run a lot of my cattle over there on his place.
Okay.
And we just kind of switch back and forth. We've leased some places. We've got 60 acres leased right now with cattle on it. But we've got other places surrounding that one place that we've got cattle running on, and we're looking to buy that place that we have leased.
Gotcha. And are you running commercial, like cow-calf type operation, or what are you doing?
No, it's more of a little family deal. We don't really go big in it. It's just something that we've done for a long time, never really have got big into, but do our best.
Are you do you sell calves every fall, or do you sell bulls and heifers? How do you work it?
Most of the time I sell my calves during the fall.
Okay. Very good. And so this has always kind of been a side project for the family?
Yeah, for the most part, between that and then working on tractors and other cars.
Yeah, really interesting. Well, now here you are as a sophomore. Does that mean that you have been in the FFA for this your second year, or were you able to start in middle school?
This is my second year in the FFA.
Okay. So why'd you sign up? Why'd you want to be part of the FFA?
You know, there's a lot of people doing it, and I'd always thought in junior high, I had ag classes in junior high, and I always thought it'd be real fun to do. I always looked up to the people in FFA and got signed up for my ag class, and I joined the FFA, and been a real fun experience.
That's great. When you say you looked up to the people that were ahead of you, what did you admire? What was it about what they were doing that you looked at and said, that's something I want to do myself?
Most of them, they were great leaders. Well, not most of them, all of them were. And just their personalities and not being afraid to talk to other people and getting to know them and teaching us.
Yeah, that's great. And so as a middle school student, how did you find yourself coming into contact and having those interactions with the high school students who were in the FFA?
Well, at first I was real nervous about it, and I came in, didn't know hardly anybody.
Yeah.
And I got started, and I mean, it was just like I was on top of the world. I couldn't live it down. I was having the most fun I'd ever had.
That is good. Good for you. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And was this during your freshman year of high school, or was this while you were still in middle school?
This is while I was still in middle school.
So then, is there an arrangement made between the middle school and the high school where you get to go do activities with the high school FFA students, or how did that come about?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot of activities right then for the people in junior high, but we always tried to get in and work with it.
Okay.
And our teachers were the FFA advisors, so we always got to learn about it, and it was almost a weekly, if not daily, conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Well, good for you. I'm glad you got to do that, and here you are. You're starting into your sophomore year, so now are the tables turned? Do you ever get to work with and get to know some of the junior high students who are looking to be in the FFA in a couple years?
Yeah, I've worked with a few of them that I know. I've tried to kind of branch out and get a hold of other ones to talk to them about FFA, but right now with the virus, I'm not having very much luck.
Yeah, I know it. And so are you at home doing online school 100% right now?
No, currently our school is doing fully in-person school. We had the option that I wanted to go to school and talk to everybody.
Very good. So you're there just like normal, 5 days a week?
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Good for you. I'm looking forward to that happening, for my daughter's high school as well. So I'm looking forward to that coming up here soon, I hope. So that is great news, Devin. I'm glad to hear that. Well, let's do this. I would love to acknowledge who your FFA advisors are. Would you mind mentioning those folks for us?
So my first FFA advisor that I had in class, her name was Mary Ann Keck. And then my second one, I have him this year. His name is Joseph Stratton, and both of them have been just phenomenal, wonderful teachers.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for acknowledging them, Devin. And really quick, I want to acknowledge our great sponsors to this show, everybody. Of course, I want to talk about Lacrosse Footwear. You can find them over at lacrossefootwear.com. And, of course, always love to mention Lacrosse when we do our FFA episodes. Lacrosse is so proud to support the FFA by annually sponsoring $25,000 in scholarships and jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program. And you will not be sorry. I'll tell you what, I use their Alpha Range boots on my farm every single day. As a matter of fact, just before this interview with Devin, I slipped them off. I was out irrigating, and last irrigation of the year, by the way, which is always fun. But anyway, I use them every single day. I'm still on my very first pair. They last. They hold up. They are tough enough to do the work that I do on my farm every single day, and they will be for you as well. Make sure you check them out. They're over at lacrossefootwear.com. And hey, hunting season is upon us too, and Lacrosse has got boots for you and your hunting needs as well. So check them out over at lacrossefootwear.com. And then everybody, of course, Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. I could not be more proud to have a sponsor than I am of having Powder River as a sponsor here on the show. I've known about Powder River my whole life, and now we've got a Powder River squeeze chute and their livestock panels here on our farm for our cattle here in Idaho, and we want you to do the same. They have been manufactured for over 80 years for the toughest cattle to handle we have in the U.S., coming in off of our rangelands out here in the West. And if they can handle those cattle, well, they can certainly handle yours as well. So check out everything they've got to offer you over at powderriver.com and let your local farm and ranch retailer know you want to see that Powder River green out in their sales yard so you can buy the finest in livestock handling equipment as well. Okay, well, Devin, thank you for indulging me on my live reads for my great sponsors, but let's get back to you. Let's talk about your supervised agricultural experiences. So I know you've been doing a ton. What all have you been doing so far?
Well, I started out my FFA year. I had, right then at the time, I think I had 5 mama cows and 2 horses. And right now, I've still got the 5 mama cows and I've still got the 2 horses, but I've grown on that.
Okay.
I think I'm sitting at about 10 head of cattle and then the 2 horses, and I'm looking to buy more cattle right now.
Okay. So you've got the cattle, and so any particular breed?
No, I've had a little bit of it all, honestly. I've ran Angus and Charolais, but
all right.
That's what I'm sitting at right now.
So you started with those 5 mother cows, and when was that? Was that right at the beginning of high school?
Yeah, I'd had them. I've always tried to keep 5 on hand all times, and whenever I was probably 4, I got a little Charolais heifer calf gift to me on my birthday by my great-grandmother.
Awesome. I love these. I got to tell you for a second, Devin, I always enjoy talking to young men and young women like yourself who started out so young and they were given a cow. They're given a heifer or something like that for a birthday or for Christmas, and to me that is just the greatest gift. So it brings a smile to my face when you tell me that story.
Yeah, I always have loved to tell that story specifically.
Yeah, that was very cool. And that was from your great-grandmother?
Yep.
That is great. And so 4 years old, and it's been building ever since.
Yeah, right now I just grew slow, and I'm still growing slow, but I've saved up enough money over the years selling cattle, buying cattle, that if I went out, I think I could do a lot better if I found some good cattle out and I went out and bought them. I think I could do real good on them. That's great. Well, good for you. I love that. And, man, a lot of people want to find a way to work with cattle, and it sounds like you're getting your education early. So that is great. Now, you mentioned the 2 horses you have. A lot of people keep horses just for pleasure riding, but you're using yours for working, right? Yeah, I use them out there at the livestock market, drive, sort, pin cattle off of them. But then I do a lot of pasture roping out there on the farm, but I've picked up team roping on them. Okay. And that's been a lot of fun.
Okay, so you're working at your local livestock auction on horseback, helping to move and sort cows. Is that right?
Yep.
But you're also doing some competition and having some fun on these horses.
Yeah, I try to do everything I can off of them and try to find time for it.
Yeah, that's the one thing we can't make more of is time, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
That is for sure. Okay, so how long you been team roping?
I've been team roping for about 2 months now.
Okay, so you're just getting going. How long you been roping in general?
I've been roping since I was 3 years old. My dad built me my first dummy and gave it to me on my 3rd birthday, and I still have that roping dummy to this day. I use it almost every night.
That is great, man. You're gonna top out the list for best birthday presents on the Off Farm Income podcast. You got your roping dummy at 3, your first heifer at age 4. That's pretty awesome. Well, so let me ask you. Yeah, you bet. So you've been starting team roping. Have you had some success? I mean, I know you've only been doing it a couple months, but how's it been going?
So far it's been doing pretty good. I've lost some money, but then again, at the same time, you've got to lose money to make money. And I've made a little bit here and there, but right now it's spotty.
Well, you're just getting started, and I can guarantee you're right about that. You got to spend money to make money, and eventually it comes back around as you perfect your craft. But there's a saying there: you got to have skin in the game, Devin. You've got to have something on the line, or you're just never going to give it your best. And so that's kind of how that goes, right?
Yep, that's for sure.
Now, have you found your sweet spot? Is it being the header or the heeler?
Right now, I'm a header. I'm working on my horse, getting her finished on the head side, and I plan to move over to the heel side. I've been working on the dummy, catching on the heel side some.
Very cool. And the dummy, is it stationary or is it mobile?
Well, it's stationary right now, but I've been looking at some mobile ones. I'd like to have one of them.
Yeah, that's great. Well, now here I'm reading off the list here of the supervised agricultural experiences that are on your form, and I see turf grass management as well. Tell me about that. What is that all about?
Well, I started out mowing for the church that I attend and our local post office, and I just did it for the community pretty well, and I just love to do it. And our church moved, so I moved with them.
Okay.
And now I have a lot of ground to cover there. I've gained on. I'm starting to mow for our local fire department. I mowed for my great-grandmother, and I mowed for my grandpa.
Okay.
Mowed for all of them that I could.
Okay. Now, is this a business? Are you being paid to do this, or are you doing this all as a volunteer just because you enjoy it?
Right now, I'm being paid for it, but there's weeks whenever I'll go and mow, and I'll just you know what, don't worry about it. Move on to the next one.
And you just enjoy it that much?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it pays off.
That's great. Do you have your own equipment, or are you using the equipment that they provide?
Well, we have to provide the equipment for our services. So my dad, I've kind of partnered with him on some lawn care equipment, and me and him, we run around and take care of the yards for the community. That
is great. Good for you. And I'm assuming you're on a riding mower, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, you're right. I'm on a zero-turn riding lawnmower, and it makes everything so much easier.
I bet. That's great. Well, good for you. I've got a problem with mine. I bent my mower deck. You ever have a bent mower deck?
No, I can't say that I ever have.
Don't get one. You don't abuse your riding lawnmower the way I abused mine, but I got to get mine straightened out. It makes the lawn look funny. Well, that's great. Now, is this something that you're going to continue to develop as maybe an entrepreneurship SAE or something like that?
Yeah, I plan. I've wanted to get bigger, kind of start my own little company, have some friends work for me, just anybody who's looking for work. I
Sure.
thought, maybe I could grow, get bigger.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, I know you're just starting your sophomore year of high school, but as you look forward, you've got 3 more years of high school essentially. What kind of thoughts and ideas are coming into your head about what you want to do when you're done with high school?
Right now, I've put a lot of thought into what I want to do after high school, but I'm wanting to go to a technical school of some sort, and I haven't decided on what I want to actually be whenever I grow up to be older.
Yeah. Does working for yourself, does that appeal to you? Like with the lawn business that you're getting going, is Conway a big enough area if you were to stay there that you could work for yourself full time with a lawn care business?
Yeah, I think that if I went full time lawn care, I think I could do pretty good around Conway, but I'd have to branch out to other towns around, because Conway's not that big of a little town, so I'd run out pretty quick, I feel like.
And is that reasonable, or do you want? I'm making this assumption, which I may be wrong about. Do you want to stay in Conway, or do you want to go out and try something new after high school for a while? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, right now, I'm just loving Conway, but at the same time, part of me wants to go out and see what else the world has to offer, what else I can find around. It's
a big world, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, that's great, Devin. I'm excited for you. You obviously are a very nice and well-spoken young man, and you've obviously got a work ethic, and that's going to serve you very well. So it's the future is very, very bright for you. I wanted to ask you, you talked about how much you love mowing lawns. What is it about that? What is it about being out there and mowing the lawn, maybe being on the mower or whatever, that you enjoy so much?
Well, just the sense of looking at something and seeing how grown up, trashy looking it is, and taking just as simple as taking a lawnmower and a weed eater out and mowing and weed eating around things, and then just looking at it and seeing how much you've changed that and how better it looks since you've changed it.
Yeah, there's a sense of accomplishment there, isn't there?
Yes.
Do you ever find yourself just kind of standing there for a minute looking at it?
Yeah, I've done that quite a bit. And my dad, he stops on the mower and he looks over to see what I'm doing, make sure I'm all right. But you just got to look and admire it for a little bit.
I agree. I'm the same way. And I'm the same way. It's funny. I'm the same way with cattle. When we've got good pasture and we turn cattle into good pasture that they haven't been on in a month or something like that, and we turn them out and they just go to eat, and man, I will be transfixed. I could sit there and lean on the fence and watch them for an hour.
Yeah, that's always a pretty sight to see your herd of cattle out grazing on the pasture that you just turned them out on and worked so hard for. It really makes you feel like you've done something then whenever you see that.
I agree. Well, Devin, this has been a pleasure talking to you about cows and about work ethic and all of that. I really do appreciate you coming on and sharing this with us today.
Yep, no problem.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you to Devin Caselman for coming on the Off-Farm Income Podcast today and sharing a little piece of his life with all of us. Really appreciate that. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.